Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be reviewing a book called Beloved by Toni Morrison. See, my friend Toni, she hit me up, right? She was like, hey, I wrote this book like 34 years ago. It's not doing very well. You're super famous, Tyler. Can you review it on your channel? And I was like, yes, Toni, what are friends for? So I read the book.
6 hours later.
Seth and Denver are at the plantation. And Seth runs. When the novel starts out, Seth and Denver are both at 124 Bluestone Road. Denver is Seth's daughter. A man named Paul D comes to visit Seth at 124 Bluestone Road. Seth and Paul D were both former slaves. Seth hadn't seen him for 20 years. And she starts to have flashbacks when she sees Paul D about when she was at Sweet Home, which is the plantation that they met. Seth was the only female slave at Sweet Home, which created a problem. There were a ton of men there, and they all wanted her, but she ended up marrying this guy named Hallie because Hallie paid for her mother's freedom. Shame! She actually never met her mother. And So Hallie and Seth have 4 children together. There's her 2 sons, and then
there's more?
A 3rd daughter who doesn't have a name, and then the 4th one is Denver, who actually lives with her. The plantation owner, Mr. Garner, dies. So Miss Garner hires this guy who they call school teacher to run the farm, and then he ends up being like super abusive, so they decide to run away. And when they're running away, school teacher murders Hallie. So school teacher's nephews chase Seth into a barn, and they actually end up raping her. But Paul D is in the barn and sees what happens, and Paul D is in love with her, so he goes to Miss Garner, the old plantation owner's wife, and tells her what happens. But school teacher finds out about that and starts to whip Seth, even though she's currently pregnant. So she starts to run away, and then she's running away. She meets this woman named Amy Denver. And Amy Denver basically takes her in, saves her, and delivers her baby, and that's why she names it Denver. And while she's in Cincinnati, I think it's about 28 days after she escapes from Sweet Home, school teacher shows up.
How are you doing today, Jasmine?
And tries to take her and her children back. But she didn't want to go, and she didn't want her children to endure the hardship of slavery again. So she takes them into a shed and is going to murder them.
But you did this for what?
But she's only successful in murdering her 3rd child, who doesn't have a name yet.
What? Child. Anyway, so.
And her other 2 sons run away. Since her 3rd child didn't have a name, she actually sold her body to an engraver so that he would engrave the word beloved on her headstone. Seth and Denver actually go to jail for the murder of Seth's 3rd daughter, Beloved, but they're actually released because a group of white abolitionists protests and gets them out of jail. A couple weeks later, on their way home from a carnival, they see a woman sleeping at the bottom of their steps, and they ask her what her name is, and they say Beloved, and this convinces Seth that the woman is actually a spirit of her daughter. They eventually invite Beloved into the house, and she starts controlling Paul D by seducing him. But later on, people told Paul D about why Seth wouldn't leave 124 Bluestone Road, because she murdered her 3rd child and her old slave owner was coming to get her.
How are you doing today, Jasmine?
This upset Paul D, so he left and didn't come back for a while. And then Beloved started to manipulate Seth as well, because she became abusive, but Seth still put up with it because she believed that it was her daughter and it was her right to like make her happy because she murdered her. Denver noticed what was going on, so she left to go get help from a group of people, and when they come back to the house, they see Beloved standing on the porch naked and
I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
in the group that came to save Seth from Beloved, there's a white man that looks like school teacher, and this scared Seth, so she grabbed an ice pick and tried to go murder him, and the crowd like swarmed her and tried to stop her, and in the middle of the chaos, Beloved just disappears and they never see her again. And Seth is really upset about this because she truly believed that Beloved was her third daughter, like reincarnated. But Paul D comes back and tells her that he's in love with Seth. And Seth says that he misses Beloved, but he said that she's her best self, so it doesn't matter anyways. They end up living together again and never seeing Beloved again. At the end of the novel, it ends with a warning not to share the story of Beloved with anybody else. So eventually, as time goes on, people will forget about Beloved, like she didn't even exist.